Mr. Hobbs told us last year about Drag Race High.
The class really heard through the grapevine.
Why us?
Mr. Collins told us he had something really big that had happened.
Something about a drag race. We get to build a race car.
We had to buy the car from a teacher.
$10,000 what you're given.
9-week time frame.
Race it against another school.
Ever since then, I've been hyped up about it.
And soon after that, we found out it was Fairview.
It was really exciting because we didn't know exactly what. We were really curious.
I knew coming into this new building, there wouldn't be the tools that I needed. There's always that thing that goes wrong. I needed to make sure that I could get my hands on the right equipment. Drag Race High put a sense of urgency on everything as far as my shop. When I came up here, I knew I had to leave some of my students behind.
I had the option to stay in Centerville, Hickman County School. I heard they were building a car here in East Hickman. I wanted to build that car really bad.
Luckily, some of my best kids came with me.
I'm still in high school, don't really know what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, and I get an opportunity like this. It's pretty cool.
This is the first time I've ever done any kind of automotive class or anything like that. I've worked with a car with my dad, but that's about it.
One of my kids had a rough summer.
Andrew, he had a run-in with a horse.
Well, I rode the crazy horse, of course, because I'm stubborn. Got crazy, reared up, pulled him right back on top of me and broke both my hips.
Look straight at me and you will see yourself.
Welcome to your new East Hickman County High School. Good morning.
I had not been to this school yet. I hadn't seen anything, so everything was big. And everything was scattered around, didn't know what my classes were.
That was probably one of the most awkward days that I'd experienced. That little girl that missed getting off the elementary school, so I had to go back. I'm 20 minutes late getting here.
First day of school, we pretty much started setting up the shop, getting it all ready for the car. That's the first day I actually got to see the whole thing. It was pretty nice. It'd probably be one of the best shops in this end of the county.
I was in such a rush to get back to class, I almost forgot about the TV crew, but they found me. I knew when around to the corner, oh no, it's on now, what do you do on camera? I finally made it to first period. It's not the best way to start off a new school year.
Can I have your attention, please, with Crystal King and Kristen Mangrum? Please come to the front office.
When I first heard about the show, I thought, how in the world did they find Fairview, Tennessee? It's almost like we're not even on the map.
We got to get down here and get these rumors settled. We are going to build a race car. It's confirmed this summer. We're fixing to start knocking some boats loose.
The program this year involving us and East Hickman.
Our biggest rival is Hickman County.
Each one of us will be building a drag car.
I was very excited about it. We've always wanted to do something like this, to build a race car.
It's a big thing because nothing ever happens here in Fairview.
We are the first two schools picked to do this. Every auto mechanics class in the nation are going to be watching this every week to see what we do. This is going to be a very exciting year for all of you.
Wow. Man, I got to be on that show.
We're gonna win.
National TV, it's our own show. How much better would that be? It's going to require some dedication. After school, we want to get some students, at least 4 or 5.
I think I can stay after school.
So when do we get started?
And I am really excited about it. I've raced for years, and when I quit, I wouldn't even go to a drag strip, couldn't even sleep for days. There's no second place in this. And you're the first loser, you go back to the pit and load up and go home. You're going to see a ground-up restoration of a car, except for one step further. It's going to be built into a drag car.
During the body work, we look more towards Charlie.
Lazy.
Dang! He's done body work for about 4 or 5 years, actually. On the engine-wise, we look more towards Andy Jester, because he deals with engines all the time.
I can't really afford to build my own car right now. I'm kind of blessed that I got that kind of opportunity. I'm John Dennis, and I'm a senior.
Motivator.
Helpful.
Willing. Lazy. This is a fun class. Working with your hand, the experience we get in here. Mr. Hobbs is a great teacher.
My name's TJ Peak. I enjoy wiring a lot, and I just wanted to be the one to help.
Kyle Butterworth. I'm a junior here at Fairview High School.
Helpful. Too serious.
A good friend. My experiences outside of class is from my dad, helping him all the years. We've never really done any racing, but we've done restoring, rebuilding, a little bit everything with a car.
Curtis and Kyle, I think are my main two. Both of them are real knowledgeable.
I think we have a pretty good chance. Mr. Hobbs used to drag race himself back in the day. back in the ancient times, I guess.
This is a challenge. This to me is better than any football game I've ever seen, because we all get involved in it. And we all can be there at the race, and we all can be there when we haul theirs away. Everybody excited? Yeah. All right. Y'all ready to see the car?
You know what the true definition of a yellow jacket is? It's a ground-dwelling, trash-eating insect. And on October the 20th, we're gonna go looking to squish some bugs. Let me hear you scream.
We want you to take pride in your school. We want you to get involved with everything that's going on.
Throughout the summer, I'd been telling them, I was like, you know, this is going to be a big project and everything, and a lot of people just didn't really know if it was true.
We had a pep rally.
I'm fixing to introduce to you a very special person who is bringing us some awesome news.
Mr. Collins was on the floor, and you know, thinking, what's he doing there?
This is your one and only auto mechanics teacher, Mr. Todd Collins.
Good morning. Man, this is awesome. Man, this is a great facility. The first time I walked in here, it was kind of overwhelming. This place is so big, and the colors, and it's ours.
Next thing we know, he's talking about us.
You've been chosen now, the high schools in the United States, to be part of a new program called Drag Race High.
Seeing all the cameras and stuff, and you just realize, oh man, it's really happening.
So we're gonna be spending the next 9 weeks, the guys that are in my shop, and along with you, helping us come up with some ideas on how to market this thing, what it should look like, what our t-shirts should look like, how we're gonna get the community involved in things.
For him to actually sit there and say, you know, it's here, it just made everything really real.
This is an opportunity for the world to see East Hickman.
When he made the speech, the entire school just kind of got behind the project, and then it kind of turned surreal.
I want you to be really excited, because on October the 20th, we're gonna unleash Eagle One, and we're gonna go hunting for this notorious bug they call a yellow jacket. You know what the true definition of a yellow jacket is? It's a ground-dwelling, trash-eating insect. And on October the 20th, we're gonna go looking to squish some bugs.
Just sitting up in the bleachers, you know, cheering along too.
Let me hear you scream.
Well, Mr. Hobbs took us back to see the car. There's 2 cars actually sitting there. There's a green Ford Edsel.
I thought it was the Edsel. I was really excited. Everyone was telling me I was looking at the wrong car.
And there was a Chevy Monza. And it looked like he pulled it right out of a swamp. Oh, that was pitiful.
It's beautiful right now, I tell you what.
You can see everybody just kind of like, oh man.
That's great.
Where is the Camaro?
This is a 75 Monza. They made this car through 79 or right at 80.
I don't think I've ever seen a Monza before. How are we supposed to race with a flat tire?
This car is very sought after the people that are in drag racing.
I could have went to a junkyard down the road and found better.
I thought he was just playing games with us.
It stunk. It had grass growing in the trunk, a tree sticking out the side. I think it had a squirrel's nest in it. It's bad.
Hey, we're not on empty, we're good.
Yeah, it looks like crap. By the time we get all the paint knocked off of it, we get the rust out of it.
How long is that gonna take?
Every bit of the weight we think we can get off of it is coming out of here, because weight kills horsepower.
Everybody has their tetanus shot, right?
There was 2 rules set up in this race. 1, we had to buy a car from a teacher. The second was students had to do the work. We can give you any assistance, but they want you to do the work.
I thought it'd be too much for us to handle.
This is gonna take a lot of work.
It needs a little work.
Yeah, it needs some work.
I think the car's got a lot of potential. I can't wait to honestly see what it's going to look like when we're done with it, how we stand up to whatever East Hickman's building.
I think they're going to build a Ford, from what I understand.
I hate Fords.
Mr. Hobbs, he don't like Fords.
And I'd love nothing better than to beat a Ford.
There's no chance that we're gonna lose. It's a Chevy, and they got a Ford.
Chevy's like a rock, you gotta kick it to make it move.
It's not gonna be anything close.
They don't wanna. I'm telling you. Y'all are done.
Talking about the program, and they're the Eagles. So they were setting up and they were talking about us being the bugs, the bug people, and how they were going to crush the bug people.
Who wants to drive it first?
Some of you kids would love to have to drive to high school.
The next school that does this is going to be looking at you and how you designed your t-shirt. We don't want to go, we could have done better than that.
Tell us what you want.
The art class come to us to discuss our crew shirts to wear today at the race.
Here's a cool idea. Michael just said we could do one like he's got on.
Hell, let's get work shirts, you know. Something like mine's got patches on it, says your name.
We need to throw our logo in there, you know. We need to define the Yellow Jackets as much as possible, remind them that they're ground-dwelling, trash-eating insects.
They really make them mad.
They're the Eagles. They had a meeting for their student body, and the instructor got up, and he was talking about the program.
You know what the true definition of a Yellow Jacket is?
Ground-dwelling, trash-eating insects.
And they were talking about us being the bugs, the bug people, and how they were going to crush the bug people.
Your car's going to be nothing but duct tape.
Of course, it gets back to me quick because I got too many friends that teach out there.
Are they going to go home crying? I was aware that they were throwing names out there and making fun of us, but it didn't really bother me because, you know, they're just East Hickman and I just brushed it off. It's East Hickman, they always cry about everything.
Good morning, students and faculty. Remember that tonight is our very first football game. We're playing BGA in Franklin. We want all of you to go out and support the Eagles.
We had looked at a Mustang from the outside, but we really want to run a Chevrolet. And Tim come out with all these that I've got a new Camaro and all this other stuff.
What'd the other school get?
We think they've got a Mustang. They think we have a Camaro.
I thought we had a Camaro too.
We want them to think that. So we're in good shape.
Knowing the motorsports community, it's really hard to get one company to go, here you go, for 2 cars. It's a little rough, but it's a project.
We've told around that we were building a Camaro with a small block Chevrolet.
So he and his rumors kind of kept us out of the GM side of things because I didn't want to do something that we couldn't finish. Who wants to drive it first? I also want to give the kids a choice between 2 different styles of cars. This is going to be their car.
We started out right.
We had the 87 LX that was full car. It had a motor, transmission, ran and everything. And the other car was a little coupe. It was tore down, had everything out of it except the glass pretty much.
I've got everything ready to go for either one of them. Decide what you want to do and let me know. I left my kids alone for a reason. I was hoping to see who would be the leaders in my class.
A lot of work either way, kind of.
That was already important.
I expect a lot from Michael.
I work duck welding, and I've been working there for about 1.5 years or so. You know, started out sweeping floors.
And Michael's name kept coming up from every instructor that I talked to. From academic teachers to career tech teachers, he came up, and so I went and talked to him, and he was kind of leery. He didn't know me, I didn't know him. It was the first time we'd ever met. I had worked with Dale for 3 years prior to this, and I knew what Dale could do, what kind of person he was. He's probably one of the most talented kids I've ever had in my class.
He chose me the crew chief just to make sure everything gets done right. When he's in the office, I'll be out there showing him what to do.
At first, they really wanted to go with a coupe.
Yeah, because all the parts are already stripped out and everything.
So this would be pretty simple to put it back together.
If you're just considering it because this one is this way, they'll both wind up like this. That's not an advantage. There's a lot of stuff that's missing. Tabs have been cut out. They'll have to be put back in. Mounting points are gone. So, I mean, I'm not discouraging you from it, but it's not as easy as it looks. Y'all ready to go make a decision? That's up on the board is the Anthony Jones website. Anthony will be here with us in a couple of weeks. There's a hatchback there. That's one look. There's a sleeper look. You're just not going to get that finished look like you get out of the blue one with the coupe. It's just a little bit rougher. It's going to be hard to get the interior all back in it.
We basically came down to a decision whether we just wanted to build, if we wanted to build an all-out race car, where we'd use a coupe, which is lighter and probably more aerodynamic, or do we want to build a sleeper car? It's something that you could basically ride around town and then throw it on a drag strip when you want. Some of you kids would love to have to drive to high school.
Show of hands, guys. Let's get this done.
Y'all wanna go with looks, speed? Let's build the whole package. We're gonna go with the blue one. I think that's a wise choice, guys. I think y'all do a good job.
Both teachers donated their cars, so they got to keep the $10,000 for parts. It's an excellent move because it adds up when you're building a car.
We're going down and compete against East Hickman Yellowbirds.
We're going to go in and tell them that we're in a competition with them, and we want them to build the best car they can possibly build. Because after the race is over, we don't want to haul any junk back to Fairview.
You always are afraid you're gonna get beat. Are you building a tube car?
Tony actually started, he's a little older than I am, started before we did.
And we just had a rivalry over the years. We would run each other in eliminations. I had a lot of respect for Tim and his crew.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that part of it as far as the rival.
I won, I think, more races than they did.
My dad turned me on to racing early. He started me with ATVs.
I started actually in 1967. Drove it myself. Didn't really like the driving part as much as working on it.
Once I got into racing, I really never got out of it.
It's in your blood.
I never sleep here.
I went all the way up as far as super trucks.
We were in some magazines and things with our cars, but back then we weren't interested in taking pictures. Most were just interested in getting down the track.
Tim I've known in passing. People have described him as a really, really good mechanic. When I knew that I was gonna have to do this with Tim, I was kind of nervous. You always are afraid you're gonna get beat. A lot of people are afraid of Tim. Of course, he's a new school board member. He's kind of got that tough guy image, I think, in the community.
I've been out of this since 1972. That was a long time ago and things have changed. You can bet I've got some tricks up my sleeve. And we're gonna go invade their pep rally. They know we're coming. And we're going to boost them up. We're going to go in and tell them that we're in a competition with them, and we want them to build the best car they can possibly build. Because after the race is over, we don't want to haul any junk back to Fairview.
This is my first year playing football. I love it.
We've got a couple of kids that are on our football team that got double investment in this.
I'm a wide receiver, I'm an outside linebacker.
A running back and linebacker.
And we want every one of you to come out tonight and support us. Put it down, and we're gonna beat the crap out of Paige tonight.
I thought I'd just go out there and get them fired up.
All right, Yellow Jackets. There's a new game in town. High school drag racing, where we're going down and compete against East Hickman Yellowbirds. We're planning on going down and pull some feathers in October.
It was kind of out of character because he's usually uptight about having cars being done right.
He doesn't really do that a whole lot.
We want all of y'all to be a part of this.
I guess the show kind of got him in gear.
What we want to do is take their car back to our swaths right here. So we're going to start tonight our winning season. We're going to be playing them in football, baseball, and other sports, and it's going to be a clean sweep. Thank you.
I think a lot of the fun in competition of this is trying to outsmart each other and outwit each other as far as what we're building. I think Ty's going to be running a Ford engine. That's what the word on the street is. He'll be looking to figure out what we're running also.
We've heard that he drug out an old Chevy Monza out of the woods, going to attempt to put it back together.
The idea about racing is trying to stay ahead of the other person and having something that you're not up front with until the day of the race, and they see your car and say, oops, that's not what I thought it was going to be.
We're hoping he's got plenty of horsepower because he's going to need it.
Our sources will find out for sure later. As soon as they get started, I'm sure he has his spies too.
Well, I got some questions now that we got time to sit here. I thought the easiest thing in the world would be to put this Ford together and get what we need to get, but it hadn't gone as smooth as I'd like for it to go. We hadn't acquired a motor yet. I was thinking kind of the other day maybe about a 700 horse limit. And that way it gives you an option to put a small block in of some kind, spray it and have fun with it.
I think 700 would be a good figure because one of the things about it, hopefully it won't tear anything up. Because I hate to get down there and get embarrassed for either one of us.
Tim, you can count on getting embarrassed. I don't imagine we'll embarrass you. So. I'd hate for you to fire me when all this is over with.
Todd, you win, you're fired.
I'm just gonna ask you, are you building a tube car?
Yes, tube chassis.
All right, we might ought to go to a horsepower to weight ratio there. So 700 horse?
700 horse.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
Mr. Collins, this usually happens to somebody else. Well, guys, it's happening to you now.
How about it, Eagles? Let's go!
This is the real world, guys.
I thought there's a rat in the hole somewhere.
And I thank you for the vacation.
3 out of 5.
I'm not gonna do that. He's got something in his eye, and you got an IR station.
We don't want to haul any junk back to Fairview.
I won't do your job.
If they can't get on it in 10 days, then Monday I'm coming after it.
You need to have a better attitude. I said, no, I don't.
If that car were in my shop, I wouldn't be able to get it done by that deadline.
Where is the rest of the car?
He's got to finish the sheet metal.
We found out they had two.
They had a Porsche, bad car, and it was already done.
My little brother was gonna drive it, but he just had a baby, so here I am.
You want to go down there and kick their butt?
Shut up!
She's kind of fiery.
Me and Tim Hobbs had some words.
You can't do that in a drag race.
He was kind of testy.
We have another day to plot.
You gotta keep calm, take your time, and you'll get it done. If you do it right, we'll win. If we don't, maybe next year.
Okay.